it's Jennifer Vatz of Belladonna's Botanicals. And today I want to talk about the different types of spiritual energy cleansing products that I make, and I'm sure others make as well, obviously. I know I'm not the only person who's ever made Florida water in their life. So, um, anyways, because I've gotten this question several times this week to talk asking about the differences between things, I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about in a video to give kind of like some further clarifications on it. The first, I brought a couple products that I had handy down here. I didn't bring all of them, just what I had on hand. Like, what is the difference between like aura cleansing products and energy cleansing products? Now, both of these I have in the soap, in the bath salt form. I have bubble baths, and I believe crystal healing oils, all for these particular things, because it really depends on the mode of application and how you like to use things. So that's why I like to have different options, because bath salts are great, but a lot of people who live in cities only have shower stalls, or if you live in a dorm or something like that. So anyways, just to have the option of, hey, here's a soap. You can use it very much in the same way. So the difference between something that is for aura cleansing, this is more for your external etheric energetic body. Now, yes, you're putting it on your physical body and it's kind of working its way out from there. But excuse me. When we think of our, sort of etheric body and our aura, as it were, they can go out. It's something that can kind of collect dust and cobwebs, if you want to say, in the energetic sense. So you can end up, while things aren't hitting you're not getting that negativity necessarily attached, or that energy attached to your physical body. It's kind of like stuck there. And this also could be carryover karmic things from past lives and whatnot as well. If you do astral travel, there's a lot of things that can kind of get stuck to you from, floating around in the other realms and whatnot. So having part of your spiritual hygiene should be looking at your overall energetic body, and that includes the etheric body. So like I just had a Reiki session done this past week, and most of the work that she did was clearing out just the junk, the space junk from my auric field. And it was interesting because we both kind of at the end collaboratively agreed. I'm like, I felt like she was just clearing out these like tar patches, like these, just like someone had flung like just had this like black tar attached to off into the etheric energetic spectrum, while it wasn't hitting me personally in any particular area of my body. It was just kind of there in the energy field. Like, you ever get that feeling like there's a dark cloud of something following you around? That might be something having to do with your auric energy. So she cleared that out, and and at the end when we were talking, she's like, yeah, it was like I was removing like buckets of tar. I'm like, okay, that tracks. We kind of came in the middle and sort of realized what that we both were getting the same kind of, which happens a lot during energy work. You can kind of you both will start seeing sort of the same or similar things. And so she kind of was clearing out some of that debris that had attached to like other people's energy, environmental energy that had attached to the auric field. So it's one of those things that because I can do, as a Reiki practitioner, you can self-heal Reiki stuff, but I feel like I was focusing a lot on the physical energy of my physical body. So like when she went in to do that, there wasn't a whole lot she had to do, physically for me. It was all like in that, I'm like, okay, mental note. let's like, add into our, spiritual hygiene and maintenance, focusing a little bit more on the aura cleansing part than just the physical energy cleansing. So now that said, with the auric, where the energy cleansing products work in, that's going to be a little bit more for clearing out any negative attachments, whether they're energetic, it could be, any kind of spirit attachments, any kind of just ick that's attached to your physical body, the energy cleansing products. And it can carry over a little bit into the aura cleansing, but it's really more for a physical, just, really, pure, kind of purifying that energy and whatnot. So the other one that I get a lot of questions about, and I make a wide selection of Florida water products. I have the soap, I have the bath salt, bubble bath, crystal healing oil, and I also have Florida water that I make. Did I forget anything other than? No, I have a lot of Florida water products. So Florida water has an interesting history. It was Florida water itself, which is you'll see often in botanicas, most metaphysical stores, the Murray and Lanham liquid. It's like a clear liquid. It's a cologne that's been around since like the 1880s maybe. And something that over the years was adapted and used in a whole array of spiritual cleansing. Like with the liquid Florida water, you can dilute that and use it to literally clean your house, your ritual spaces, it's a really cleansing in like a purification kind of way. And it's very multi-purpose. I kind of look at, say, energy cleansing is sort of like a maintenance kind of thing, whereas Florida water for me is like a more of a powerhouse kind of like, okay, it's time for doing that deep spring cleaning kind of thing. So that's when I look at that, and there are a myriad of ways you can use Florida water. And everyone has different ways of making it. Like I do a brew when I make my Florida water. Now, the one that you get at the Botanica is just kind of like alcohol and some like essential oils or fragrances in them. It tends to have a more citrus, floral with a little bit of spice. Spiciness to it for the one that I make, but the one that's sold commercially is a little more of like a citrus floral. But like when I make Florida water, like I brew it, it's got like herbs and dried. Yeah, I use dried fruit because it's easier to kind of maintain. And it rehydrates in the water and white alcohol. I use a variety of florals and I use a little bit of essential oils and stuff. So I love it. It reminds me of when I was a little kid and would after a storm in the backyard make witch's brew out of just whenever I collected in the yard. But that's how I make my Florida water. And I also add some of the Florida water base that I make to the bath salts and the bubble bath. It just doesn't blend because it's alcohol based. It doesn't blend well with the soap or the crystal healing oil. But there is some that's also in here. So this is a really kind of like heavy duty purification kind of thing. Now, there are other aspects of, I didn't bring samples of everything, but another one that also works in tandem with like the auric cleaning or the aura field cleaning is the cord cutting soap. And this doesn't, and I also have a cord cutting ritual oil if you're doing a ritual thing. You could also add a couple drops of that to a bath. I know I have. And I have a bath salt for cord cutting as well. Now, this just doesn't have to be like I broke up with someone and don't want to have, I just want to cut cords with this relationship or this person. We establish like etheric connections or cords with everyone and everything that we come into contact on a daily basis. So that's how we end up sometimes carrying other people's energy with us, is because we through interactions, through being in a similar space, and this can happen even with my computer, my this or that. You develop these energetic cords that attach between you and that thing. So cord cutting is a good maintenance type of energy cleansing. It doesn't have to be attached to an end of a relationship or literally wanting to cut ties and cords with someone, is that it's a good part of your spiritual energetic hygiene. So other ways that you can do cord cutting, I mean, some people even just do every night before bed, they'll do like a little cord cutting thing. And you can do that easily enough with like a selenite wand. I have a specific, it's not down here, but like an obsidian blade, cord cutting blade. You can do it by like smoke cleansing, or anything of that, to just sort of like intentionally clear out those energetic cords that may have attached you during the day, especially if you're in like, toxic workplace environments, or or having to deal with anything, especially when you have like a bad day or something, or you got Karen'd at the store or whatever. It's a good practice, and one that I think really needs to be implemented a much greater. I also have uncrossing / hex breaking bath salts. I have a soap and a ritual oil for this. So yeah, some things I don't have in the whole. I'm like, maybe I'll make an uncrossing bubble bath. The only reason I think I haven't made an uncrossing bubble bath is because all the things that are in here don't really smell great. Like the other things translated better to making a bubble bath version of it that were more fragrant. This one's a little, up to me. I'm not wild, but also I have to make these things all the time, so I'm around the smells a lot. So after a while, I'm like, but uncrossing and hex breaking products are really like, if someone is working against you, or you've just got a lot of negative energy and you can kind of sense that it's attached to you. I mean, this is going to kind of nuke that out of the system. It'll help you if you have anything that's bad luck, bad juju around you, etc. But it's more targeted for that kind of specific thing. But it will, again, like most of these, will help break up any kind of negative energy or entities or anything that's attached to you in that sense. And the other one, and I think there's a couple other things that I did not bring down here, but the other one I wanted to talk about is I have dragon's blood soap, bath salts, and a ritual oil. Dragon's blood for me, now this is what I use when I want to smoke cleanse my house. This I think is a cedar bundle. There might be a little bit of sage in it and some flowers, but in general, if I really want to kind of do like the cleanse it all, banish it all, dragon's blood is where I go. So like when I want to smoke cleanse my house and do a purification thing, I use dragon's blood incense for that. Corey decided he wanted to say hi. Hello, humans. Love me. Love me. Yes. Hello, Bubba. All right. We're going to sit down. Okay. You just get you get some Corey for some extra Corey for your entertainment of watching this video. And now Corey completely distracted me from what I was talking about. So I do make other types of products that are good for energy cleansing. Thieves Vinegar is another one that's used a lot in like banishing and purification. It's just a little more stinky because it's vinegar based. I use red wine vinegar in mine because I cannot stand the smell of apple cider vinegar. Like it literally makes me like vomit in my mouth. So I use red wine vinegar based in mine. Other people I think use I think apple cider vinegar might be the most common, but so that's another thing that you can use. I have the Florida water. I have a various array of like protection and energy cleansing sprays, like the protection and purification one. Some of them are more targeted, like the magic attack one or the mirror warding one, and those have very specific purposes to them. The transmutation spray is really good for like, kind of taking the negative energy and transforming it or transmuting it into something more positive. So if someone, and I found this, and I know other practitioners too, it's like, yeah, it seems like and I was saying this in somebody's, I was talking to someone last night, it's sort of like, the more you know someone is working against you or the more shit you're getting, it always seems like it empowers you more. And like, because I've noticed, I'm like, I know sometimes when someone has legitimately like tried to curse me, because I can tell, because I suddenly have like a streak of really good luck. Or like everything will like suddenly go right. Right now I think someone's trying to curse me but has really bad aim, and I'm just basing that on all the crap that's gone on in my neighborhood in the past couple months. I'm like, close but no cigar. Anyways, I coping mechanism, that's honestly just because I'm literally kind of, it's just been a really fucked up year on my block, or my half of the block. So far this year on the block, the house across the street burned down. My neighbor, a couple houses down, got hit by a car getting out of the car. Like, luckily she had already gotten her child out of the car, and there was a hit and run. There was a running shootout I witnessed a couple weeks ago. That left one person dead about a block from here. And just earlier this week, there was another house fire, kind of catty corner to where I live. There was one fatality in that, and it's only just the end of February. So, and that's just been in my little half of the block in the city. So I am honestly ready to get out of the city. So hopefully that's something I can do. I'm going to be manifesting out of that. And now. Back to what I was talking about before someone came and distracted me, is that I do have other types of energy cleansing products. I was talking about the sprays. I do have a lot of crystal healing oils that are good for that. Some of them I do overlap. Like, I know I have the energy cleansing aura, Florida water. I also have ones that are more geared towards like emotional trauma. Like the crystal healing oil mechanisms, and I do have this in another video where I was talking about that, is, I mean, there's something you use over time to kind of enhance. Actually, I have I think I've showed this one a million times. I still want to have handy. I have the shadow work one here, but it's something you kind of use to enhance your spiritual experiences or your journey or your healing. Excuse me. Using the emotional trauma, crystal healing oil is not going to cure you of your emotional trauma. It's there as a ancillary mechanism of support for that. I should have brought down but didn't, but like our most popular by far, my number one top selling product is the spiritual and emotional cleansing or emotional healing bath salts. And I do also have that in a soap and bubble bath version, which I released last year, and crystal healing oil as well. And that one is just kind of like a really good, that one's going to clear out, like if you're dealing with a lot of grief or sadness or just spiritual, clutter, psychic attacks. It's really excellent for that. I had actually made that 3 years ago. Wow. Yeah, 3 years ago, after my beloved kitty cat Buster died, that I made that just because I was feeling 2020, the beginning part of it was really kind of awful for me. I had some mental health issues that left me that I had to take a grippy sock vacation earlier that month. And I thought at the beginning of 2020, I was like, well, between that and my cat dying and other stuff, I was like, well, the rest of the year's got to get better. And we all know how that turned out. And as a side note, the first crystal grid I ever did was in mid-February of 2020. And I used a clock face because I wanted to, there was a lot of issues I was having around timing, of there just never being enough time. So I wanted to remove the obstacle of time. Oops. And because like a couple weeks later, we were all on lockdown and had all the free fucking time in the world. But I have since been forbidden from doing any wibbly wobbly, timey wimey magic. So, sorry about that. anyways, I think that's kind of like in general what I offer as far as, some of the things that are really good for your spiritual hygiene and energetic maintenance, because that is something, regardless of what path you're on, regardless of the type of magic you do, regardless of whether you're an energy worker or whatnot, you really need to have good energetic hygiene. And that, especially if you're doing energy work, all magic takes energy work. I mean, you really need to have good grounding and centering practices, whether that's working with crystals. I also do have grounding and centering bath salts. I wonder if I should make a sip version of that. Anyways, like I'm trying to expand like the product lines out, that to have different variations of them, because I mean everyone likes things different. I'm a big fan of bubble bath, to be honest, so a lot of times I'll use the bubble baths before, or I'll put like a teaspoon or tablespoon of the salt bath and the salt in first, then I'll put some bubble bath in. Yeah, I'm Jennifer and I make tubs messy worldwide. Anywho, but and I have other videos about how to do spiritual baths, and yeah, so I guess to summarize, doing regular energy work on yourself or having someone do it for you, doing your energetic maintenance of, I probably, whenever I take a bath, I'll always use something in it. Even it doesn't necessarily have to be like I dump a whole entire bag of bath salts in there. Like a lot of times I just use like a tablespoon at a time. So some people will pour in the whole thing and whatnot. And occasionally I've done that if I really freaking need that like nuclear bomb of energy cleansing. But when you're doing daily kind of maintenance cleansing, you don't need as much. So you might want to, if you're buying bath salts for the first time, you might want to buy, say, 2 bags of the energy cleansing. Use one to kind of do like the full cleanse, and then, use a tablespoon or 2 at a time. The bath salts, the volume wise, they look different, but they're all about 5 ounces weight. So, if you use a tablespoon at a time, that's like, so half a tablespoon. No, a tablespoon is a half an ounce. So, you would get several baths out of each of these. So, yeah, so that's a little bit about like one aspect of spiritual hygiene is using, spiritual baths, because hey, we all hopefully take a bath at least once a week. Sometimes, well, I don't always wash my hair once a week. But I've also had the literal shit bleached out of my hair over the years, so I can go pretty long without having to wash my hair. That aside, keep your spiritual cleansing good. It's not just saging your house and calling it a day, or there's so many different methods that you can do, and I'm sure I will do follow other videos on that. I know I have one in the works. I would talk about smoke cleansing a little bit more, and yeah. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And if you really love our content, join our Patreon or our YouTube channel for exclusive premium membership content. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.